Now in the studio is Dr. Barry Abutu Johnson, Deputy National Youth Leader under the Abura camp of the Labour Party. And our plan is actually to discuss the fresh leadership struggle in the party as the Nenadi-led caretaker committee has taken control of the party secretariat following a court ruling that removed the Abura-led national committee. But then, before we actually go into that, we will welcome you to our studio, Doctor.
Thank you so much for having me.
And then, most importantly, let me put it this way, because the issue of amending the Electoral Act 2022 to provide room for unfettered transmission, live transmission of results on IREF has dominated the polity.
That's right.
I want to have your take, because after mounting pressure, the Senate today rescinded because they said, okay, there is another option. If there is technology, if there is electricity, if the IREF is working and all that, fair enough. The presiding officers can now upload. But where there are glitches, there are shortcomings, they should now continue with the manual method. What is your take on that?
My take is that Nigerians should get ready to expect the glitches the more in the elections, because the same thing we saw in 2023 is what will happen as far as the Electoral Act of 2022 is what we are still going to use. Basically, if you look at it all together, it is clear that we don't have these networks to operate this electronic voting or an electronic transfer of votes or transfer of results. It means that a lot of villages in Nigeria will be disenfranchised from the election.
Then who will you blame for that?
We will blame the Nigerian people who are jumping up and down and running to the National Assembly to run a protest just to show that they have a little muzzle of 1 or 2, 3 hooligans or gangsters following them as politicians.
So you are not in support of the protest?
I am in support of the protest, but I am not in support of a total blackout on the issue of no electronic voting, no elections.
How do you think it should be?
Nigeria is a country that is emerging. The time we are using to protest, why not protest for the stability of the telecommunications industry in Nigeria? By the time we have a robust telecommunication industry, nobody is going to ask the Senate to do that. They will do it themselves. But you are now trying to ask the Senate to do something that is not going to be a benefit to Nigerians when it comes to elections. Because definitely there will be more problems when we have a by force law that the beavers must be used or not. Because when you say electronic voting, you are telling the Nigerian people that without the beavers,
or maybe
no
rather,
votes.
Instead of electronic voting, maybe electronic transmission, because the voting is manual.
Electronic transmission of results.
Yes, so
which
the
is
voting
simple.
is manual.
Yes,
The
voting is manual.
Okay.
So how can you do voting manual and you want to do transfer of results with electronics?
It's a kind of double standard.
Double standard. Is it not the same people that will transfer, that are the same people that will conduct the elections? And who told anybody in this country that electronic voting cannot be rigged? It's even better to do manual, because Nigeria is not grown enough. I am not against the protest, but I am against what the protest is asking for. It is their right to protest, but also it is also the right of Nigerian citizens to come out and vote on election day. Because by the time you say electronic voting, by the time you say electronic transmission and transfer of votes and results, it means that without the beavers, no votes. So where the beaver does not work, no votes. But you actually
But they say you can use manual.
You can use manual. So it's basically the same thing, because the percentage of Nigeria that is connected to the server of the network of telecommunications in this country, tell me how many is effective. Even you and I right now in the studio, If you call me now, my telephone will be telling you out of
as
service.
I said, we wanted to have Peter.
You can't have him. Why did you not have him? You didn't have him because network is out of the game.
So will you now say that Nigerians actually push this decision to the throat of the Senate? Because you've seen what they did before.
Yes.
They were a bit silent because they believe the internet penetration still problematic.
That's right.
Now, can we say they were actually right to have been circumspect in a way when they weren't magnanimous in saying we should outrightly go for the transmission?
Well,
or you believe they also want to do something that will ultimately be self-serving?
Well, actually, if you look at what the Senate really wanted to do, there's a little padding of that law, that bill, because some people came out and did a press conference, the Abaribe group, that they were not in part and parcel of the bill, since the bill that the Senate president read some days ago. So now the protest, the positiveness of the protest has pushed the Senate to do the right thing. What is the right thing? Giving the opportunity for the Nigerian people to have the opportunity to vote via electronics, and when it does not work, you can run back to your manual.
Vote manually,
yes.
But then the presiding officer will upload electronically.
But I'm telling you right now, right here in the studio, for the whole world to know, it's a waste of time. For me, I don't think we need a new or an amended electoral act.
What do we really need?
We need credible elections. We need credible conduct of elections. Were we not in this country where a man called Goodluck Jonathan won election free and fair with even a more battered electoral act? Were we still not in this country when the late Muhammadu Buhari won election free and fair in 2015? What electoral act was used? Was it not that same electoral act? I would just advise the opposition, put your ass together.
Including you.
Yes, we need to put ourselves together. We are not together. We don't have one voice. What the opposition needs is not an amended electoral act. What the opposition needs is partnership to remove or to move Nigeria forward. Like if you look at the ADC partnership, you confirm the ADC is in disarray. Everybody's walking his walk. Peter Obi is in one side of the ladder. Rotimi Amechi is in the other side of the ladder. Atiku Abubakar is navigating from Dubai.
And I can say Dr. Bari Abutu, even though not in ADC, but...
Of course, we are in another side. You can see the issues of our own Labour Party springing from the other side.
So now, seamlessly now, let's move into the conversation of today in respect to the second part of our program, which is why we brought you now.
Yes.
So as you are saying, it's not about Electoral Act, amending the law, or whatever. You think the opposition, they have a lot of work to do?
I think it's not like I think. I know. I joined the politics of Nigeria in 1999. I was the Alex Ekweme presidential campaign youth leader. Even
National youth leader?
National youth leader of the Alex Ekweme presidential.
In 1999?
Yes, in 1999 as a little boy. And I was not even a PDP member. I was just one broadcaster that the man saw and said, this is the right man. I was the one who brought all the NANS presidents from all over universities to Jos for the national convention before Olusegun Obasanjo became the candidate. So I have carried bags for politicians. I know them. List any politician, I'll tell you who he is and what he thinks and what he wants to do. This is the weakest opposition in the history of the politics of Nigeria, where everybody is doing their thing.
Even beyond 1999?
Even beyond 1999. In the history of Nigeria, this is a weak opposition.
What makes it?
Because they are in disarray. They don't understand why they are opposition. Can you bet the opposition of 2022? The ABGA, the NPDP, the ACN, the CPC, the AMPP coming together to form the APC? That was a banger. That was a banger. You saw how they even end up having a list of people attacking everyone in the government. Goodluck Jonathan was bamboozled out of government because of the power of the opposition. Look at Rotimi Amechi sparking fire from the south. Atiku Abubakar smoking every sound from the northeast. Bukola Saraki from the north central. But look at all these people we have today. They are confused. They're just jostling to become presidential candidate of their party. And they don't even care what's happened to other parties. They are not even seeing the capture, the state capture that has been transferred to the political party capture.
We thought that Labour Party will make the difference. I mean, will consolidate what it did ahead of 2023 and during the 2023 election. Because, of course, the party had been there for a very long time, but the milestone recorded during the 2023 election, unprecedented in the history of Nigerian politics. But here we are now. I'm even trying to understand. You've been part of the Abure faction, right?
Yes.
Now
the real faction.
The real faction? Is there anything real faction?
That's the real people who, by law of the constitution of the party, by the Electoral Act, and by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The last time I checked,
yes,
the court said you are no more.
Because the court is in disarray of junking out subverted judgments.
Don't commit contempt.
I'm telling you what's happening. The court of this country should be questioned. Decisions of the court is wrong. Is this the democracy we wish to hand over to our children? Show me the politics that we want to hand over to the next generation. Politics of criminality, political prostitution, and support from the courts with due respect to everyone? Is that the democracy we're talking about? Is it the democracy we want to hand over?
I want to understand, why are you and your cohort fixated with Abure?
Let me tell you, we are with the Abure leadership because Abure represents institutional development of democracy in Nigeria.
How do you mean?
Because Abure is someone who respects the rule of law. Abure is someone who looks at the constitution before he takes a decision. Since when I became a member of the Labour Party, I now discovered a strong understanding mentality in the leadership of Labour Party. You see that man called Umar Farouk, seasoned politician. Abure and Farouk will never allow any unconstitutionality to happen in Labour Party.
Why did they convene National Convention without recourse to other members of the National Working Committee?
Let me tell you something about that a lot of people are making like a mistake. The Labour Party is a small political party. In 2023, the party sparked because of the influence of Peter Obi, the Obedient movement, and the well-meaning Nigerians. And with the ideology of the new leadership of the Labour Party to capture Nigeria and to replace Nigeria with people who understand politics of democracy and politics of development. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not seeing the political angle where the institutional influence should count, not an individual. Abure stands for institution. The other people stand for individuality. Have you ever asked them why exactly do they want Abure out?
How long, had he been at the helm of affairs of the party?
Abure has just entered his second year as elected national chairman.
All through he was acting.
He was acting. He was trying to finish the tenure of the late Abdul Salam, who died in the course of being chairman of the Labour Party. And the reason why the Labour Party didn't conduct a national convention in 2023, that leadership expired, was because the party in session decided to reappoint Abure and give him an extension of 1 year so that the party can focus on the presidential elections.
Many believe he actually used the opportunity.
Yes.
He got to transmute into I'm sorry to use the word, a dictator of sort. Trying to, I mean, show where the
there's no time Abure declared or displayed the activity or the character of a dictator.
What about the allegation?
Abure cannot do anything without talking to the NWC or the NEC of the party.
Some believe he was actually doing the bidding of APC, doing the bidding of tinubu, just to ensure that the Labour Party remains in chaos.
Can I ask you a question? If Abure and the NWC and the NEC of Labour Party now is tilting towards the support of the Asiwaju administration, why is Asiwaju not giving order to the courts to make us remain? Why the conflicting judgment?
Because maybe they have reached a point of no return of manipulating the crisis in the party.
Let me tell you, that is not true. The Abure administration is the authentic administration because we held our national convention the right way according to what the party says, the party constitution says. People who are stakeholders of the party in PDP or APC, they know how they do their thing. In the constitution of Labour Party, there is no resemblance of any recognition of anyone called a stakeholder. We don't have stakeholders in our constitution. What we have are authentic members of the party and statutory members. And when you conduct a convention, who do you tell that you want to conduct a convention? Is it the members? It's the statutory body. It is when we do a press conference to invite the general public to play a role of sightseeing and weakness. That's when the general public knows.
Now that INEC won,
yes,
courts two,
yeah,
generality or part of members of the Labour Party acknowledge the leadership of Nenadi Usman. Will you support her?
Why do we have to support somebody who is an imposter?
Allegedly.
She's an imposter as far as I'm concerned.
That word is very heavy.
Let me give you the reason why I say Nenadi Usman and Kwocha remains an imposter. Anyone who is supporting them, go and check their credentials.
You can't say they are imposters when they are recognized by INEC.
They are recognized by INEC. Who is INEC? Is INEC not a bot over? INEC is a bot of organization. Is INEC working as an independent organization?
That we have to respect.
Which serious institution?
Because even the election,
an institution that is confused, an institution that will say yes today and tomorrow no. INEC does not understand what it means to run as an independent organization.
But that is your opinion.
That is not my opinion. That is what we have seen. INEC is only feeding the judiciary with litigation so that they can siphon funds from the Nigerian people who are playing politics. We know this. We have seen their decisions. We have seen all what they have done. If not for the rascality of INEC, we will not be seeing the litigations flying north, south, east, and west in our elections and in our politics.
But you have evidence to verify.
We do.
But they can take you to court.
Let INEC do.
And the judges that you are also making reference to, they can subpoena you, you know.
Let them go ahead and do it.
You have the capacity to defend yourself.
Let me tell you about something. You see, Nigeria has come to a time when we no go agree. Do you understand that slang in pidgin language? We will not accept political criminality
but does that mean you will
Nigeria.
take the laws into your hands?
We will not take the laws into our hands. We will show them. Listen, we will show them that Nigeria belongs to all of us.
But you have vacated the office. Nenadi is there now.
Nenadi is not there. Nenadi is an imposter, like I told
you.
She's not allegedly. She's an imposter.
Are you planning to go to, another court?
Let me ask you a question.
Are you heading to another court?
As a Nigerian, what court decision do you take as the final conclusion on a matter? Is it the Federal High Court or the Supreme Court?
The Supreme Court.
What did the Supreme Court say about political parties' leadership in 2015?
Tell our viewers, what is it?
The Supreme Court says that no court of law in the Federal Republic of Nigeria has the audacity and authority to declare any individual or a group as the leadership of a political party. But listen, what did the judgment that Nenadi got from the Federal High Court in Abuja, what did he say? He says
the chairman.
She's the chairman. So it means that judgment is subverted.
No,
that judgment
I think
is
you are
wrong.
giving it a different interpretation.
No, I am not giving a different interpretation.
Okay, let me tell you.
Did you know?
I allow you to talk.
Did you also know that Barrister Abure also
listen
had
to
a
me.
judgment in this same Federal High Court and Court of Appeal?
So will you now subject yourselves to the Supreme Court in the event this case continues?
Of course, definitely. The Supreme Court is the final judgment of any decision for anyone who is a respecter of the rule of law.
But have you filed your appeal?
Of course, we even have a stay of execution, execution of stay. So if you have that, you submit it to INEC. What is Nenadi doing in the national headquarters of Labour Party? That is breaking an entry.
But
that is stealing.
Is Labour Party redeemable going by the area
of the
Labour,
if Abure comes back, who is the substantial elected chairman of Labour Party, the party will spark up. Was the party not sparking up before Nenadi intruded?
Peter Obi left you, and you know it was actually his shadow that catapulted the party to prominence. Now he is no longer there.
I disagree with you when you say, listen, I disagree with you when you say Peter Obi prominence catapult us. Was Peter Obi not the same person who contested as vice presidential candidate in 2019 with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar?
He was second on the ballot.
Hold on.
He was second on the ballot.
Hold on. Was he not a member of that game?
But you know, I would never take it from you if you said it is not the shadow of Labour, Peter Obi.
It is not the shadow of Peter Obi. Whose shadow is it? The shadow of the Nigerian people who are eager to have a change in leadership.
So
of this country.
You want to tell me that
Peter Obi came with his smell.
Were not in Labour Party will still make the headway it made?
Of course, even bigger and better.
Under whose leadership? Under
anyone God will send. Listen, in every political dispensation, there's always a political smell. The smell of the 2023 general election came with the Nigerian people, and by the grace of God, with Peter Obi as an individual. Why is ADC still in confusion? Is Peter Obi not there now?
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Bari. I wish we have more time because the conversation is huge and we only touch the surface. Please, we'll invite you next time to come.
Thank you, and I appreciate this opportunity.
Viewers, Dr. Bari Abutu Johnson, Deputy National Youth Leader under the Abure camp of the Labour Party, here with us in the studio. But we hope to have you some other time in order to expand the conversation. Earlier, we tried very well to have Peter Aka, Director of Publicity for the Movement for Credible Elections, to no avail because of technological glitch. We hope to also have him very, very soon. And this brings us to the end of today's package of Daily Politics. Join us tomorrow for another interesting edition. From here, I'm Hamza Idris. Good night.